The best way I can describe Nightreign is that it's like Taco Bell. I love it while I'm eating it, but then it leaves me fighting for my life in the bathroom 2 hours later. Nightreign is the Elden Ring gameplay loop on steroids. Rather than slowly leveling up your character and tailoring your build for the next big boss, you're rapidly pinballing between the greatest hits in From Software's catalog. Each run consists of 3 in-game days, with one day lasting around 20 minutes, and from the moment you hop off the battle bird, you're sprinting, desperately trying to grind out as many souls as possible to level up. And the gameplay is sped up to accommodate this. Your movement is faster, you don't take fall damage, you can climb walls, and your characters have abilities that support the touch and go style of this game. You gotta admit that was kind of sick. And along with this, you're playing with 2 other people. And this is where the game shines. Slogging through some of the most iconic bosses in Souls history with other people at this breakneck pace is pretty fun. Except I can't actually talk to anyone I'm playing with. This sucks. I've always disliked how From Software approaches multiplayer in their games. Like, it's so painful. For example, in Dark Souls 3, you needed the white soapstone, you have to be embered, you need a matching password, and then one of you has to place that soapstone to be summoned, but only if it was the day of a solar eclipse and Venus is in retrograde.
What?
Nightreign does away with most of this and is finally caught up to the present day. You can invite people to a game like it's 2007, but with the small caveat that it's trios or bust. Now, if you're an adult with a full-time job, it's pretty difficult to align 3 friends' schedules. And if you don't have friends, you're stuck playing solo or with randoms. And playing with randoms is fine, but there's literally no way to communicate with them outside of placing a waypoint. Like From Software, what were you thinking? You made a multiplayer game without core multiplayer features. I will say my experience with randos has been pretty good overall. We coordinate attacks, stick together, and we rarely get double locked on a character. And since Nightreign is a roguelike, rather than building a character, you pick from 8 available classes. And these classes fall into 2 categories: interesting and fun, or raider. One thing I appreciate is how unique each run feels based on your character choice. Executor plays a bit like Sekiro, so you're focusing on quick parries and counterattacks with an ultimate ability that turns you into this stupid cool wolf. Wilder, he zips around with a grapple hook. Iron Eye can open weak spots in enemies, and he shoots this just massive arrow as an ultimate. And then Raider can make a rock. Sorry about that, guys. Here's a much cooler ult. Each class opens up different approaches, and while you aren't building a character like an RPG, you do feel that each character is unique, and seeing how each style meshes with the weapons can make for some pretty interesting combos. But unfortunately, depending on the night boss you pick for your run, some characters feel completely unusable. Now when you get to a night boss, your reaction, depending on which one you pick, will be one of 2 things. Dude, that is so sick. Dadgum. Or bro, can you please come down? Now, in my opinion, a good roguelike means that every character or weapon, depending on the roguelike, works in every situation, or at least remains somewhat viable. In Nightreign, that's just not the case. You want to play Executor and focus melee the whole game? Well, you better not fight this stupid whale. You're never gonna freaking hit the thing. The argument can be made that all of this is based on the player's preparation for a fight. But if your pre-made character's kit is rendered unusable simply by the boss that you picked, then that shrinks the amount of options that are viable for that run, which hurts the game's staying power. In Elden Ring, if you lose to a boss, you just spawn at the site of grace and try again. In Nightreign, you play for 40 minutes, and then you lose to the boss you've never fought before because you focused on getting cool swords and not a bow, and the punishment for redoing this is having to do the entire run again, but now you can't even do it with the character you like. I think Nightreign as a whole can be described like this. When it works, it's undoubtedly fun, but it's bogged down by baffling design decisions. It's too much of a departure from the base Souls formula for hardcore fans, but it's still too difficult for newcomers. On one hand, I appreciate them taking a well-known franchise and gameplay formula and expanding on it in a new and interesting way. On the other hand, if this is what we get when they experiment, I would rather them just stick to trying to make like Elden Ring 2 or something. If you have a consistent 3-man squad and like the idea of a unique twist on Souls games, you're probably gonna have fun. I mean, I had fun. It's hard to fully recommend this game at $40 though, when for $20 more, you can have one of the best games ever made. Finding Nightreign is difficult, but if you factor in the cheaper price, and let's say you're in a perfect world where you have 2 buddies on Discord and you just parry the Nameless King like it's Sekiro, then I'd give Nightreign a 7. Which is also the price of a $7 Lux Cravings box from Taco Bell.